Oh, man. Oh, man. So what has my coach, and you know who he is to you. You already know who he is to y'all's. I don't even have to say it. I don't have to say it. But what has my coach been up to? Oh, yeah? He's getting some flack from his subscribers about how he's teasing the sneak peeks or the peekaboos or the polka ditties or the pika ditties or whatever he's calling them. Yes? He's not calling them polka ditties? No? All types of other goofy names. Preacher ditties? Preacher booties. Okay, all right. So what has he been up to? So apparently some of his viewers are complaining that he's showing them this supposed bonus footage, and he's showing them things that have happened on the mobile home, and some of his viewers consider it to be clickbait. Is that right? And so he's showing this bonus footage, and the viewers are tuning in to watch the full length, what he calls the full length video. And they're like, man, this is some straight up bull. They like, we know that you are our pastor Tim. But pastor, even though we are fully ready riders, even though we're fully riders, ready to ride for you, ready to climb up on that tractor for the sneaker ditty. Oh, the polka dit. No, let that go. We're going to let that go. But they're like, yo, we tune in to watch the full-length video. And come to find out, your little trailers, your little bonus footage and stuff that we won't see for another 2 months. Another 2 months. You're showing us work actually being performed on that mobile home. Okay? Progress as far as the weather wrap, as far as installing windows, as far as installing the patio door. And come to find out, we're not going to see the actual videos for that stuff for another 2 months. They say that's some straight up bull. Okay, so Tim is trying to defend it. He's like, well, I was trying to give you guys the extra footage. You know, I'm doing it for you guys. I'm not slow rolling this content for myself. I'm slow rolling it for you guys, because if you guys saw all that supposedly exciting footage, your head might explode. Like, okay, all right. Good gracious. But what else? What else has he been up to? He was teasing. I guess he was teasing the Disney World. So still teasing the Disney World. And I'm like, okay, now, so we're not going to see this exterior siding work on the mobile home until August. We're into July, probably the end of August, I would say, yes? When are we going to see the Disney World footage? Okay, I know my coach was implying that the Disney World was already paid for. Now, we know that he has canceled trips. He has canceled vacations in the past, when he was supposedly building a farm that you would not need a vacation from. And of course, Megan was like, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Okay, I need a vacation. I need about 3 days a week vacation time. Okay, if I want to come anywhere close to matching up with your 5 days a week vacation time, Tim, I need a good 3 days, because I'm the one that's actually doing the work around this farm. Oh my goodness. So what else? So he talked about taking down the mono work, the hard work that he was doing, and actually taking down the gutters. Is that right? What was that? About 20 or 30 screws? What was it? A handful of nails? What was it? Some caulking? He got up there with the box blade and removed some of the caulking. That was hard work, really? Really? Okay, what else did he do that was hard work? He removed the skirting. Is that right? What was that? Another 30 or 40 screws? Is that right? And you're telling me that the screw gun does the majority of the work. All he has to do is muster up however much upper arm strength, upper body strength he can muster up just to support that power drill, and the power drill is going to do the rest of the work. Is that right? Okay, we know he struggles with the upper body strength. I guess in the upcoming gun video, he talks about having a strap, having some type of shoulder strap for his firearm. I'm sorry, for his rifle. For his rifle. I guess it's not a firearm, but we'll talk about that in a moment. And so I'm like, well, even with that power drill, I guess that power drill might weigh a couple of pounds. And so I know coaches think, well, man, if I had a shoulder strap for this power drill, it would really make my job easier. But in the meantime, he says this constitutes hard work. Okay, actually holding that power drill in place to remove the screws to take off the skirting. Okay, all right. So what else? Good gracious, what else? What else has he been up to? Has he been up to anything else? Nothing really? Well, all right. Welcome back to the end game, where today I'm going to I'm going to give my reaction to the recent IAG Farms video where Tim, he finally gets around to showing the video for these Second Amendment rights. And I'm like, good gracious, we've seen video footage, we've seen teasers or trailers or promos. We've seen promos for it for the past couple of weeks. And so you finally get around to showing us this video. Now wonder your steady Tim supporters are upset. Now wonder they're disgruntled, yes? Okay? Now wonder. 2 weeks later, they're finally seeing that video that they've been supposedly looking forward to. 2 weeks later? Are you kidding me? Okay? But I'm going to give my reaction to that video. But now, I have also noticed now, first of all, I have also noticed that now, Tim, another thing that his viewers, his supporters, his woeful Tim worshipers are getting a little bit antsy about, they're becoming a little bit disgruntled about, is the fact that he said he promised to take off or to remove these intros. Okay, he was going to replace them with these trailer trashes. Yes, he promised it. But yet and still, he decided to implement an intro at the start of the trailers. Here's an intro. And then still, even on the IAG Farms videos, he still has a trailer. I'm sorry, he still has an intro, a 2-minute or so intro. Is that right? Okay, so he's throwing, when they talk about throwing all the rules out the window, okay, being the rebels that they are, being the outlaw that he is, throwing all the rules out of the window. What about your commitments? Okay, what about your integrity? Okay, what about when you promised your subscribers that you're going to remove the intros and then they could make a choice on whether or not they wanted to watch the trailers or not? Yes? Okay, and so we do know that you backpedaled on that and you still have the intros in there. Okay, now us fellow YouTubers, we do understand what's going on there, yes? Okay? We do understand that you're trying to inflate. We understand you're trying to inflate your content. We do understand that, yes? The dry content that it is, okay? The lukewarm at best content that it is. The empty content. The obsolete, stale content that it is, yes? Okay? We do understand that you're trying to inflate it. And so we do understand you're trying to do whatever kind of add-ons that you possibly can do, yes? All right? But good gracious, Coach, I'm not sure how much more of this your ready Tim riders can take. I don't know. I don't know how much more of this your heavy Tim followers. I don't know how much more they can take. Well, they'll take all of it. Whatever he doles out. Whatever he dishes out, they're going to take it. Is that right? Well, okay. Well, all right. So I'm going to give my reaction to that recent video here. All right, so Tim starts out the video by talking about renting a dump. And we're like, well, I thought you guys desired to be debt free. Okay, and so we do understand that normally with renting, there's no debt associated with that. There's no financing associated with that. But you guys were giving us the impression that you're paying cash for things, yes? And now, so you're talking about renting a dump. From what we understand, from what we've seen, from what we've observed, you guys already own a dump. You already own a dump, yes? Okay, the IAG Farm / Garden is already a bona fide dump site. Tell me otherwise. Get in the comments. Okay, you ready, Tim Rice? Get in the comments and explain to me why it's not already a dump site. Okay, why? Explain to me why does it not constitute one giant trash heap? Okay, seeing the trash piles littered throughout the farm, yes? So they already have a dump Yes, they already have a dump site. Why would they have to rent a dump? Okay, why would they have to rent a dump? Okay, but of course we understand that what Tim is really referring to is a dumpster. Yes, and so I guess they're going to rent a dumpster. I don't know, because at first I was like, hold on. You already own a dump. Why would you go about wasting money renting another dump? but I guess we understand. Upon further review, we understand that it's a dumpster. And you heavy Tim followers, yes, fortunately for you guys have a video on them renting the dumpster, on them backing up that dumpster and dropping it off of that raggedy old driveway. You have that to look forward to, okay, for this great entertaining content, yes, that you guys are looking forward to, that you're giving thumbs up on, okay? You got a hot video coming your way, okay? You got the happy dumpster, the happy dumpster coming your way, yes? Good gracious. Desperation with the content, coach. Desperation. Now, this is why your viewers, your ready Tim viewers, okay, your vulnerable Tim viewers, okay, this is why they're 8 weeks behind on the content. This is why, because you're promising them footage of dropping off a dumpster. But okay, coach, what else do we have to look forward to? What else?
What's going on, IAG Farms family? As y'all can see, I'm up and at it, ready to roll this morning, and I'm actually getting back started with the project that y'all saw we started yesterday. And I was working so hard yesterday on the mobile home. Y'all know we're replacing all the siding on our mobile home. We were taking off skirting, taking off gutters, and we actually got a dump. Y'all may have seen this video already, but we have a dump rented that's gonna be, I'm gonna get them to drop it right here on the driveway today. And so I've been working through all those.
All right, so Tim talks about how the gun is so big. Yes, the gun is so heavy. Okay, you heavy Tim followers, yes? We thought you guys were heavy. But Tim is saying, no. This rifle is so heavy. It weighs all of 15 pounds. 15 pounds, yes? Okay? All right, good gracious. And so Tim talks about, well, with the girth of the rifle, okay, he may have to purchase a shoulder strap. This is your king. This is your king talking, yes? Okay? This is your formerly alpha male. This is your formerly alpha male, okay? Talking about getting a shoulder strap for a 15-pound implement, a 15-pound piece of equipment. Good gracious. Okay. And so now he tries to justify the arm strap or the shoulder strap by saying, well, he's trying to conserve his energy, much like he conserves his energy around that farm, much like he conserves his energy when it comes to raising those boys, much like he conserves his energy when it comes to interacting with little Benjamin. Okay. During the vital, formative years, during the vital years. Yes. Much like he conserves his energy when it comes to the homeschooling of those boys, when he sees that Megan is struggling, we're certain that she's voiced it to him. Okay, we know that when he's gone into the room as the principal, the IAG principal, okay, when he tries to come in and fill in the gaps or the blind spots, okay, we know that he's seen her struggle in there, yes, and finally she's admitted to all of us, to the rest of the world, that certainly she struggled in there. Certainly she has not known what she's been doing for the past 2 years. Yes? Unacceptable. But we're not going to talk about that at this moment. Okay? But he talks about the fact that he's trying to conserve his energy for when he's out there in the field and he's hunting for deer. And I'm like, okay, when did this season come about? When did he change the season over to being a hunter? Okay, when did that happen? Okay, and what scripture is he going to provide in order to support that? Okay, and so he's talking about hunting deer. Now, I thought that they were raising farm fresh meat. I thought that they were going to acquire their meat in a somewhat non-violent way, yes? Certainly they have the dispatch of the ducks and the other poultry, yes? Okay, certainly they have to send the hogs off to slaughter or send the sheep off to slaughter. Certainly, yes? Certainly those animals get dispatched for the sake of creating the meat that goes into their freezer and the meat that goes other places. Okay, yes. Okay, but we're talking about the violence associated with hunting. Okay, what about farm freshness? Involves hunting. Yes. Okay, so now you're a hunter. You're a wannabe hunter. Is that right? Is that how you plan to burn off some of this violent energy? Is that how you plan to appease the beast in you? Yes, that's coming out more and more. You plan to appease the beast, feed the beast by being able to go off in the woods and supposedly hunt for deer. All right, coach, tell us more. Tell us more.
Those things, and I'm finally getting my bearings to where I can get this air rifle dealt with. Like I said, because I need to do some things. Like I tried to mount the scope yesterday, but I think the scope that I purchased online was too small, and so I called a gun shop in town, and they're gonna help me get a scope attached to it, help me get all the kinks worked out of it, and get it adjusted and everything. The gun is so big, I think it weighs like 15 pounds, and so I want to get a shoulder strap as well, so when I'm going into the woods to hunt, I won't have to hold it while I'm walking back there. I can save my arm strength, for when the deer comes across my path, and I can, have my strength to be able to hold it steady. But I'm gonna get a shoulder strap. I'm also gonna get a gun safe because.
All right, so Tim finally admits that he's been clickbaiting all of us with this rifle footage. Okay, he's been clickbaiting all of us when he's been talking about restoring his Second Amendment rights. He's been clickbaiting all of us for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Okay, and we were wondering how in the world did he get his rights restored? And we're saying, well, that must be Megan's rifle. Okay, and we're talking about, well, maybe he had some type of hardship as being a farmer. Come to find out, y'all's pastor was clickbaiting all of us. All of us. Okay, it's an air gun, yes? It's an air gun, yes? And so when he's talking about the right to bear arms, he's talking about the fact, well, the air gun is an arm, yes? It is a weapon, okay? Much like that hunting knife that he has on his hip. Okay, but the air gun is not a firearm. And so he talks about the fact that is the loophole. That's the loophole. That's the clickbaiting. Okay, that's the clickbaiting that I've been doing, yes? Because of the loophole that says, well, I can have a rifle. Okay? And it doesn't have to merely be a BB gun. It doesn't have to merely be a BB gun type of rifle. I can actually have an air rifle, yes? As long as it's not a firearm. Well, I'm like, okay, coach, well, I know that supposedly your woeful Tim worshipers were so looking forward to you getting that rifle. And they were so looking forward to you firing that rifle. Yes, I guess, I don't know. I don't know why they would be excited about that. Yes. But finally you share with them the fact that it's actually an air gun. All right, coach. So the honesty eventually comes out. I guess when you're done teasing and you're done clickbaiting, yes, you're done stretching the truth and telling the tall tales and exaggerating, yes, when you're finally done with all of that, yes, getting all the clicks and the views that you possibly can get out of that, yes, then out comes the truth. Yes, the truth finally tells itself. I can't give you credit for this one, Tim. Okay, I guess eventually you had to tell the truth, considering that you had the irrefutable video evidence. Okay, of you firing what appeared to be a firearm, yes? But tell us more, coach. Tell us more.
Like I said, I was just so tired yesterday that I didn't have a chance to even worry about any of those things, and I knew that I was going to pick it back up today, but I'm going to get a gun safe because we do have small kids in the house, and even though it's not a firearm, it's still a dangerous, gun. It's an air gun. It's not a firearm, but it's a gun, and it's a beautiful thing that, there's a loophole that, someone who made mistakes like I made can still have the right to bear arms, the Second Amendment right.
Tim talks about how he had an instructor previously come out to the farm and show him how to use the air gun or the air rifle. And I guess he warned Tim that, okay, don't point this rifle at anything that you don't plan on killing. Okay, and I guess the guy said, well, don't put your finger on the trigger unless you plan on squeezing it. And of course, Tim is like, yo, you're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir, okay? All right. Remember, I had a long history of ganging and banging back in Jackson, yes? Okay. All right. And so I know my way around a firearm, yes? Okay. This thing might be an air gun, but I know my way around a firearm, yes? Okay. I know not to point it unless I intend to cause damage, yes? Unless I intend to cause some type of destruction. I already know not to do that, yes? Okay. And clearly when I was robbing, okay, most of the time I did not intend to kill the person. Most of the time, yes? It should have been all of the time. The message is, okay, don't point a firearm at someone unless you're ready to dispose of them, really. Okay, and so we're supposed to forgive, yes? The Bible teaches us to forgive. But we certainly cannot forget that Tim pointed firearms at folks many a time and many a person, yes? And so in his mind, yes, we have to understand that he was willing to squeeze that trigger, okay? When he was a teenager, he was willing to squeeze that trigger, yes? Okay, and so for the instructor to tell Tim, hey, don't point it unless you're ready to kill something, yes? Now, certainly the instructor was talking about wild game. Don't point it and don't point it at Solo. You got a dog running around your property. Don't point it at Solo unless you intend on taking down Solo. Okay, all right? Don't point it at Boaz unless you intend on taking down Boaz. Yes? Okay, there are no warning shots. Yes? And don't put your finger on that trigger unless you're ready to squeeze it. Okay, so that's what the instructor was referring to. Now, certainly when he goes and he describes what the instructor shared with him, Tim said, don't point it at anything. Now, why did Tim change the wording from game or animals to anything? What would the anything be? That might include human beings. Really? Okay, so we may not merely be talking about defending the farm against coyote, defending the farm against snake, possum, squirrel, groundhog. But Tim is talking about pointing it at anything, which would include anyone. Really now. Really now.
To bear arms, you just can't have a firearm. You know, you can have crossbows, you can have air rifles, BB guns, certain knives and things like that. Like I said, so I'm super excited to have this air gun. Like I said, I've been saving up for this for a while, prepping for it for a while. We actually had a guy come to the farm probably about maybe 4 years ago, and he was like a air rifle. He was like a gun instructor, but he brought air rifles with him, like high power air rifles, and he trained me, how to shoot and how to like the safety procedures and all those type of things, the rules about not pointing at something until you. I remember one thing he said was, "Don't point it at anything that you don't want to kill," and he said, "Never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot." You know what I'm saying?
All right, so at least now Tim has received a certain amount of training, yes? Okay, we do understand that back when he was brandishing a firearm back in his youth around Jackson and terrorizing the citizens of Jackson. Back then, he didn't have any prior training. I mean, I don't know if his gang members gave him a little bit of instruction on how to squeeze the trigger, yes? Okay, how to point it, yes, and how to squeeze it and hold it and fire off multiple rounds. I'm not sure what kind of training he got previously. But at least now, when we're talking about an air gun, air rifle, yes? At least now he's going to get the proper training. He's had some preliminary training. I guess he's going to get some additional training. But he talks about going off and setting up a firing range at Grandma Lily's property. Now, first of all, okay, remember, we're the same viewers. Yes, we're the same viewers. All right, we already know that property does not belong to Grandma Lily. Okay, and so we know that you think that you're only talking to the new viewers. Okay, the new subscribers. Yes, the new readies, the new heavies. the new woeful Tim worshipers. Yes, ready to get down for the polka ditty or the peekabookie or whatever. But anyway, so we already know. First of all, Grandma Lily does not have any property. She has a mobile home. From our understanding, she does own the mobile home, the double wide, down there at the Woodlands property. But she doesn't own any property. She doesn't have any property. Okay, so we're not going to go back to that. But, you know, for you new viewers that are getting excited about Grandma Lily's property, she doesn't have any property. Okay, and so the reason why Tim is free, he claims that he got Grandma Lily's permission. But the reason why Tim is free to set up that firing range or set up a target on a tree or fire off the woods and hope that the round doesn't make it to the neighbor's property and shatter a neighbor's window or pierce a neighbor's wall or what have you is because it's his property. Yeah, so he wouldn't need Grandma Lily's permission, considering that it's his own property. But Tim claims that the rifle is for hunting, yes? And so now that he's in this season of hunting, what about the season of completing the work? What about the defunct, yes? What about the closeted ministry season? What about that season, huh? So now he's in a season of hunting. Is that right? What about the season of raising fresh meat? What about the season of providing millions of dollars of fresh meat to people around the world or around the country or around the state or around the city or around the neighborhood? Neither of which he's ever going to do, yes? But what about those seasons? Now we're off to another season? We're off to a season of hunting. Now Tim is going to be a hunter. Is that right? Okay, and so now he's talking about hunting. He's hunting deer. Is that right? Okay, and he's talking about hunting rabbit. He's going to hunt the rabbit with a high-powered air gun. Is that right? Okay, at most, don't you hunt rabbits with slingshots? Don't you hunt rabbits with pellet guns? Maybe a BB gun, maybe a 22, maybe a 22. 22 might be overkill, yes? So which rabbits are you hunting with a high-powered air rifle? Like, good gracious. But he talks about hunting deer, yes? And then he talks about hunting wild hogs. And I'm like, okay, coach. Now, if we did not already realize that this hunting thing was nonsense, okay, if we did not already realize that this thing about defending your property against baby gators or against snakes or against coyotes, if we did not already acknowledge the fact that that was nonsense, that was foolishness, coach, now you're talking about hunting a wild hog. Okay, aren't you already raising your own hogs? Okay, aren't you already allowing them to graze and feeding them and fattening them up for the slaughter? Yes, and so why would you forego your own tainted meat? Tainted, yes. Why would you, infected, yes, disease-ridden? Why would you forego your own disease-ridden hogs / pigs in favor of some wild hogs? Okay, are you telling me that the wild hogs are living a better life than your hogs? Yes. You would rather churn up, yes, you would rather grind up some wild hog meat and smoke up some wild hog sausage than smoke or grill or fry up your own farm fresh hogs? What gives, coach? What gives?
And it was just all these safety protocols for bearing arms. Like I say, this is not a firearm, but it's still an arm. It's still a gun. And it's very, very dangerous if not handled properly. And so we're going to get a gun safe. I'm headed out to get that. I'm going to get a scope so that I can start, training. I'm going to probably set up a shooting range down at the ranch on Grandma's property in the woods back there somewhere. I've already talked to her about it, and we're in plans to do something like that so I can get back there and train so that I can, hunt, because that's what the gun is for. It's for me to be able to hunt and provide meat and food for my family deer and whatever else, rabbit or whatever else we the Lord leads me to hunt. I think we even had wild hogs out here in those woods back there. The neighbors told me that when the river rises down on the ranch property back in the woods, then all the wild hogs come out the woods, and that's when the best time is to hunt wild hogs. But I might not hunt wild hogs because we have plenty hogs that we're raising ourselves. It'll probably mainly be deer, just providing a couple deer for my family to enjoy, and maybe other families that's in need, once I get to that point. Like I say, once I get trained up good enough. But that's what's going on today. Like I say, I'm headed out, and I'm gonna get the people at the gun shop to help me out with a scope, and because I think the one that I have is too small, it won't fit.
So apparently even Megan is like, Tim, what are you going to do with that big old rifle? What are you going to do with that? Yes? I'm sure Megan was like, Tim, your rifle does not have to be bigger than mine. It does not have to be bigger. Yes? I'm sure Megan was like, Megan was like, yo, Tim, just because I am the alpha male of IAG. She's like, just because I am the alpha male of IAG, Tim, yes? And you're struggling to be the beta male at IAG, yes? Okay, you don't have to try to compensate or overcompensate by getting a bigger rifle than mine. But good gracious, I guess Megan said, what are you going to do with that big old bazooka? Tim heard bazooka, okay, because he tries to listen to Megan as little as possible, okay? But he heard bazooka. And of course, Tim with his idol worship, yes, with him affixing names to mobile homes and to shed shacks and to zero turns and to raggedy old excursions and pickup trucks, with him affixing names to to raggedy old campers, with him affixing names to all of these material items and structures and implements and pieces of equipment, yes, with him with both feet into this idol worship, yes. With him adding identities or personalities to inanimate items, yes? Of course, Tim, he heard Megan say, what are you going to do with that bazooka? And Tim's thinking, hey, maybe we can name the rifle Bazooka. We can name the rifle Bazooka. And I'm like, okay, as if that's something to be excited about. Okay? All right. And so I do know that people name their firearms sometimes, okay. But in my coach's case, okay, with him, he names everything. Okay. So with him, it's overkill. Okay. It's overkill. But good gracious. So now in the future, I guess you're going to share stories with your Ready Tim writers about what Bazooka did out in the woods. About how Bazooka missed the target, yes? How Bazooka missed the rabbit, missed the deer, missed the wild hog, hit the neighbor's barn, hit the neighbor's farm, shattered the neighbor's window, yes? You're going to put it on Bazooka, yes? Okay, that way you can deflect the blame, yes? Okay? What do they say? They say guns don't hurt people. What they say? Guns don't hurt people. People hurt people. Okay? And so in this case, Tim, we already see the writing on the wall. We already know that you're going to place a certain amount of blame on Bazooka. Yes? All right? But Bazooka is not going to damage anything in or around IAG or Woodlands property or out there in the rural Mississippi. It's not Bazooka that's going to damage anything out there. Yes? All right, Coach? We know absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing that's going to be out there firing off recklessly, yes, potentially putting property and individuals and animals at risk is you, Coach. Yes? Okay, so it won't be Bazooka hurting things, yes? In this case, it will be you, Coach. So we can look forward to hearing those stories about how Bazooka, aka Tim, shattered this thing or hurt this thing or took down this other thing, yes? We can look forward to it. Or rather, I should say, you heavies can look forward to it.
Also, with shoulder strap, gun safe, all of those things, probably some targets and things like that as well. And yeah, so that's what I got going on today. As y'all see, I got Megan's been calling it the Bazooka. She said, what you gonna do with that big old gun? For real. So that might be his name, Bazooka. For real. But so I'm finna get loaded up in Rooster. Megan and the boys are doing homeschool, and like I say, they'll be here to document that process of the dump being dropped off, and y'all will see that on another video. But yeah, so I'm gonna get loaded up, head to town, see if we can get all these things with this gun figured out. Like I said, make sure it's safe for me, safe for others.
Tim talks about how God has shown himself in him being able to secure this air gun, him being able to restore his Second Amendment rights. God has shown himself in showing Tim another path toward living more abundantly. Okay, I'm not sure how guns, bullets, taking down deer, target practice. I'm not sure how those things amount to more abundance. I'm not sure about that. But Coach, tell us more. Tell us more.
And make sure that I have all the proper equipment that I need to use it responsibly. So I can exercise my Second Amendment right to bear arms. So it's a beautiful thing, y'all. And the Lord is just showing himself strong that even though we make mistakes, he still has a path for us to where we can experience life and life more abundantly, and we don't have to miss out on anything. So I can't wait for y'all to see this thing shoot for real, because I watched some videos and y'all may be thinking air rifle, but it's like this thing has power, like a lot of power to drop. Like people have hunted bears and elk and moose and things like that with these guns. So I'm excited to put a bullet in it for the first time and shoot it. And like I said, but
okay, so of course we saw that it took 2.5 men in order to load that heavy safe into the back of that raggedy old Excursion, yes. And certainly we know that we knew that once he got it back to the house, it would be a challenge to get it offloaded from the truck and inloaded into the mobile home. We knew it was going to be a challenge. Tim, I guess he chose the biggest safe that he could find, yes. And so as if him choosing a rifle that was much larger than Megan's, that dwarfed Megan's rifle, as if that wasn't enough, Tim said, I'm going to get the biggest safe I can find. Okay? And so Megan can't help. Now, first of all, we do know that Megan was doing homeschooling for the boys. Okay, and with Tim being the homeschool principal that he is, of course, he wrenched her from homeschooling and say, get up out here and film me trying to wrestle with this safe. Yes, get up out of here. Okay, get some footage of me pulling up. Get some footage of me trying to offload it. Yes, get some footage of me trying to push it into the mobile home. Yes, okay, and then also I need you to help me push. Yes, don't worry, I'll edit it out later. Yes, I'll edit it out later, Megan. Okay. You won't have to worry about any questions from the Ready Tim writers about why you're pushing this monstrous safe, considering that you're still recovering from your hernia surgery. I know that I've tried to confuse the viewers as to what happened when and what happened first and what happened second and how much actual recovery time you were granted by me. But don't worry about it, Megan. I'm going to edit out your efforts. I did mention on a previous video that everybody had to make sacrifices, okay, around the activity around this house renovation, and certainly around trying to get this ridiculous safe into the house. So I mentioned previously that everybody had to make sacrifices. Yes. And certainly I wasn't talking about the boys making sacrifices. I mean, other than their education. Okay. But when I was talking about people making sacrifices, I meant, Megan, you're going to have to make some sacrifices with your body. Okay? And so, but now even Megan is like, oh my goodness, where in the world are we going to put that big old safe? Yes? Where are we going to put that big old safe? We already have one big old in the bedroom. Where are we going to put this big old safe in the bedroom? And of course, Tim, he lets it slip. He says what he's thinking in the moment. He said, well, Megan, I may have to move you out, Megan. I may have to move you out of the bedroom and move the safe in. Okay? All right? So I can be around those things that would love me the most. Those things that I love the most, yes. Okay? Firearms, yes. Okay? And overcompensation. All right? So I can be around things I love the most, Megan. We're going to move this. If I have to, I'll move the safe into the bedroom, Megan, and we'll promptly move you out. And I'm like, okay, now, that's not really something that a responsible spouse or a responsible husband would joke about. especially considering that we know they've had certain difficulties. We know Megan talked about how if it wasn't for God, she would have left up out of there a long time ago. Yes. Okay. She would have foregone her marriage. She would have had to jeopardize her relationship with her kids, if not for God. Yes. And so we know we had certain issues. And so for Tim to joke about the fact that he values a safe, another inanimate object, he values that more than Megan. It's not something that you joke about. Okay. I know you're woeful Tim worshipers. I know when you guys get in the comments, you can say, oh, he was just joking. He was just joking. Being the comedian that he is. That he is not. Okay. But he talks about, well, we can put the safe in the closet. Now, remember, this is a single wide mobile home, yes? Okay. Those closets are already, I don't know, the size of a pantry. Already the size of a small pantry. Okay, and so the little bit of storage area they have for their clothing or their extra shoes or extra boxes for their church clothes. They don't have any church clothes? No. Okay. The little bit of closet space that they have, Tim is going to promptly push the safe into the closet. Closet space be gone. And I'm like, oh my goodness. All right. I can't take anymore. I promise you guys, I can't take no more.
You see the forgotten. You stand in that pain.
So where is it gonna go once we get it in? We'll figure out how we'll get there.
I'm gonna move you out the bedroom and move it in.
That's what it seems like you're gonna have to do.
Nah, you said it can go in the closet.
It can go in the closet. I'm just saying, like, I gotta prepare, like, move some stuff out. But that big old
Hear
stuff.
the cries of the broken.
Okay.
That's it. That's it for my reaction to that recent IAG Farms video where Tim talks about restoring his Second Amendment rights. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Chop it up in the comments. Tim, new heavies, old heavies. I hope to see you guys in the comments as usual. I want to shoot out some love to my current subscribers. Thank you for showing me that love. I do appreciate it. For those viewers that have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing so that we can continue to shine that light. Until next time.